Alright guys, welcome to mission 1 of Lufbery's campaign, and it's September 1916, and you can see the Escadrille American paint scheme here. They had the Indians on the side of their aircraft, and they thought that they were fearless warriors basically, so that's why they picked that mascot. Alright, let's get this baby started up and go out. We're doing a basic line patrol, and we're going to be going out to over the German lines. Let's try this again here. Alright. And we got a good start. He's taking off. I'll go ahead and take off myself. Good idea to start with just full right rudder and then kind of ease off of it. You're going to pretty much need all of it to keep it straight. And there's my flight lead. We're going to go out to the line. And guns are working. It's beautiful forest areas in this. I do have some rockets. I think these are mainly used against balloons. You got to get in really close to them. Remember last time I talked about the apparently the flare gun was not used historically to down the balloons, but these rockets, to my knowledge, were. They actually were able to incinerate them. This is the SPAD 7, and it's the 150 horsepower version. There's two versions of this. I think it's there's 180 horsepower as well. So you can. The campaign or the career mode will assign the aircraft according to what your squadron leader dictates. And I'll talk about the SPAD a little bit. It was considered one of the fighter of fighters. It definitely was an upgrade from the Newport. Didn't have the some of the structural problems like the upper wing fabric ripping off in high-speed dives. It was generally a much more stable and secure platform, and pilots certainly not only felt safer but were safer in it. Just had a much better safety record as far as structural integrity. And I'm still learning about the aircraft, but from my understanding it certainly could turn and boom and zoom. Had a great amount of power, is pretty light, and it could compete with the Albatross, which was the big problem for the Allied forces during World War I. The Albatross was an incredible design. Alright, so we're just passing over no man's land right now. You can see explosions going off down there. I think my squadron leader might have spotted something. I'll go ahead and follow him in. Or maybe they're just making a turn here. Yep, they're just making a turn towards our next waypoint. What's cool about Rise of Flight 2 is, as it was historically accurate, the aerodromes weren't really far away from the front lines. They were only just a few miles. I think some of the furthest flights were maybe 30 miles away, but not very far. So you could get to the activity fairly quickly. And a lot of the action was really just stalemated right down here in these trenches. You didn't have to really worry about invading soldiers in small towns in France, because all of these soldiers were pretty much down here in the trenches. We're taking some flak on our right hand side down there. And as I said earlier, that flak was not super dangerous if it didn't get close to you, but it's certainly harassing. And it did throw out an immense amount of shrapnel. Okay, I think there's a balloon right there. Oh, that one got really close to us. I'm going to change direction. One of the keys to flying through flak is to try to change altitude and direction as much as possible, and just not to stay in kind of one location. I just saw a balloon below us. I don't know if they're reeling that one in. They probably are. Alright, so I spotted that balloon, and we're getting pretty close to it here. I'm going to try to attack it with rockets. One thing is, once you hit the pickle switch on these rockets, all of them will launch at the same time. You can't individually release them. They all just kind of fire. It'll set the fuse off on every single one of them. And they are relatively, not relatively, they're very inaccurate. They just kind of disperse in a big pattern in front of you. So let's see if this works out. Let's try to dive down here just a little bit. Alright, so and I'm pretty sure I missed. Yep, they're reeling that one in as well. So these guys do a great job of reeling that thing in and getting it out of harm's way. Okay, I'm going to try to spiral down instead of just diving down, picking up a bunch of speed. Now, the problem with this is that it gets you closer to ground fire, as was demonstrated in the last video in the Airco, and apparently they did have machine gun nests situated around these things, as well as artillery batteries to try to deter anybody from getting them. The balloons were quite strategic. They were very important, even though you kind of think, it's just a balloon, how could, but they actually did reconnaissance and surveillance for both lines, and it would let the ground commanders know where the machine gun emplacements were, where the artillery was, so that they could direct their troops around it. And that's why they were very well protected. Intelligence was very important, as it always is during warfare. Knowing where the enemy is absolutely half the battle. Alright, here we go. I tried another run here. There doesn't seem to be a machine gun nest on this one. I think it's going down. Yep. And we got that bad boy. That's awesome. Alright. Mission completed. Oh, what are those guys? Oh, I think those are friendlies actually. Yeah, those guys are rocking the British emblem on the wings. So apparently, if you look at the circle, it's kind of confusing with the Allied aircraft because they all seem like they have the same exact insignia. But to my understanding, the British had the blue inner circle. The French had a red inner circle. And the Americans had a white inner circle, if that helps out. I'm pretty sure that's how it was broken down. Are those enemy aircraft? Yes, they are. Looks like they're trying to dive down on my guys, my wingmen there. I could have sworn I just saw two pairs of aircraft. Unless my eyes are playing tricks on me here. No, those are Spads. Okay, we're good. Oh, I did see two pairs of aircraft, but they're all friendly. We got 4 aircraft up here with us. And that is a Newport there. It's a beautiful paint scheme. It seems like all my guys are flying down low down there. I don't really like to be low behind enemy lines, so I'm going to try to climb back up and get some altitude. I think I actually found 2 German airfields. You can see one there and the other one over there past the right wing. I think there might be some spiraling enemy aircraft down there. I've taken some significant flak, so I'm not sure if I want to go down there and play with these guys. Those definitely seem like they maybe just took off here. I might bait them and fly up towards the to the north a little bit. Let's see if this works out. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and pounce on this guy. I got the engine full idle. Oh man, that was close. Oh, aircraft shaking. Alright, we're okay. Yeah, this is a pretty bold move here. Alright, so here we are involved in a dogfight. I think this is an Albatross D2. Let's see if we can get with this guy. Got another one up there. There's a few of them actually. All right. Got another guy on my tail here. Oh, that's a Newport. Man, it's hard to identify aircraft. And I really prefer the Newport because the visibility is so much better. Got jam. You constantly have to reload your guns because they constantly get jammed up. Just like they did, I guess, historically. That was a very steep dive. That guy actually might be going down. I'm not sure. No, he's still up. I think we're on the French. Yep, we're still on the French side, so we're good. So I can get low here. All right. See if we can get this guy. Oh, his engine's out. Looks like he might hit the trees there. Yep, he's down. So one of von Richthofen's rules, and this is actually how von Richthofen died, is that he said you never follow enemy aircraft all the way down because you lose your altitude advantage and you can get jumped on. So that's actually not very tactically wise to do that. So you can see how my rocket's back. On that last flight, I actually got hit with artillery, with arty, and aircraft completely blew up. There's a lot of anti-aircraft around that airfield, so against my, common sense, I went down there. I knew I probably shouldn't have because it just wasn't worth it. There were about 3 enemy aircraft down there and 2 enemy airfields, and it just didn't make sense to dive down and I'll take that risk. So obviously in real life, you probably wouldn't have done that because the risk versus benefit ratio is very low, and the whole point is to live to fight another day. And looks like I did actually get that kill. Just got a few hits on that guy. I guess I just took out his engine. I didn't see any black smoke or anything, but that must have been enough to take his engine out and force him to crash. Okay, there's 2 enemy aircraft up there, and my guys are in a dogfight. Not much that I can do from down here, except watch. And I'm low and slow. It's the worst place to be in a dogfight. So this might be a good time to cut out and run for home. Alright, so I decided to come back in and try to join this fight just for the sake of supporting my my guys. I was actually able to climb up here decently fast, which is nice. I had heard somewhere that one of the tricks of World War I pilots, more experienced ones, anytime they lined up to take a shot, they would always look behind them to see if somebody was on their tail, because they figured if they were kind of stabilizing out and getting on some guy's 6 and starting to get in the groove to try to take a shot, if somebody was following him, then they too would be getting in that same groove and getting ready to take a shot on him. So it was a good practice to always check 6 as you got really comfortable and almost target fixated, and just kind of break away and look behind you. And a lot of times there would be an enemy aircraft, especially in a huge fur ball. There's just a good chance that there'll be somebody behind you, and you can break away and go on the defensive. It's all about survivability and coming back to fight another day. Of course, you got to win the war, but if you lose your life and you lose the aircraft, it's not doing any good. Alright, looks like I got a pretty good beat on this guy. It's kind of a glancing shot there. Look behind me. Now the danger of checking 6 real quick is that you might just lose sight of your bogey, of your bandit, that is. Okay, we're doing good here. That's a friendly. Alright, looks like it might be 3 against 1 at this point. Nope. Alright, looks like I'm getting the altitude advantage here. Some of my guys just attacked him. Let's see if that guy goes down. Nope, he's still flying. And I think he might have just crashed. Yep. Guy brought the farm. Alright. And again, I must have got some glancing blows on that guy because it does give me another kill. So, that's cool. And looks like we got one more guy up there. He might be heading for home. And it looks like these Spads are having a hard time catching up to him. The Albatross is quite a remarkable aircraft. It really was a leap forward in engineering. And as far as I know, the story is that the the engineer modeled the Albatross after a goldfish, believe it or not. Apparently he saw the goldfish swimming around. I guess he saw his streamlined shape, and that was the inspiration. And I think it went from the drawing board all the way up to production in about 6 months. And this was the German staple of the war. It was one of von Richthofen's planes, and a lot of the aces flew the Albatross series throughout the war. And that is enough action for me for one day. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these rockets in slow-mo and see what that looks like, just for fun. And you can see one coming off the rail on the left wing there. That's pretty sweet. You can see the arc of these things are pretty much like arrows. Very cool. I got about 20 minutes of fuel left. So the Spad is certainly a beastly aircraft, a manly aircraft. A lot sturdier, some good firepower, great turning capability, great climbing capability, and overall a better fighter than the Newport. The only thing I don't like is the restricted visibility, and it really is a boat in the front. It's hard to see. Certainly like the Newport a lot better. You can get a really good visibility, but I guess it's give and take. Sturdier aircraft is going to have a bigger frame, kind of a meatier body to it. Alright, so there's our airfield right there, and down there at Catchy. Now, one of the problems that they had early on was they didn't really have a landing pattern, and today, we call it a landing pattern, or I guess some British pilots would call it a circuit, and it's just a structured way to actually land on the airfield. So apparently what would happen, all these guys would get back, and of course everybody's eager to land, and they would, you could approach from any direction at any time. There's obviously no air traffic control or anything like that. And the problem that they had is they would get collisions every once in a while of aircraft literally flying into one another in the landing pattern, and just overall chaos. So what's his name? So Lufbery apparently came up with the idea of the early landing pattern, and what he would do is he instructed his guys basically to circle the airfield at least 2 or 3 times, look for any friendly aircraft, and if they should find any, then give way or just be careful. And then I think he established what became the upwind, crosswind base, downwind, and final legs to the pattern. I think it might have just been kind of a circular pattern at first. Alright, so let's get in landing pattern. I don't see any enemy aircraft, or excuse me, any friendly aircraft or enemy aircraft. We'll get down here and land her. This aircraft did not have a blip switch, but it did have a nice throttle. Try to get close to one of these hangars here, and you can see the detail of the shadow. Pretty cool. In order to make tight turns, they actually push the elevator forward. And then you pulled it all the way back to get that tail skid to dig into the grass. Essentially, that was your braking power there. Alright. Okay guys, so that was the end of Lufbery's Mission 1. Hopefully this will be a series of a number of missions in his career. Hope you guys are enjoying these, and I'll see you guys next time.